to Breaking Par with Bernard Sheridan, the golf instruction podcast that helps you take control of your game. Now, here's your host, the founder of Par Breakers Golf Academy and certified Golf Channel swing fix instructor, Bernard Sheridan.
Aim because the ball flight was different. That third choice, if that guy decides, well, maybe I have to bend over more too. For what? You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't take much for these tour players to just, 1, 2, 3, and by that third little, not third teacher, but third little thing that they wasn't doing naturally or over, by the time they got to be a tour player. And then, what you get, and I've had an opportunity at a couple of these guys, is you get these damaged goods guys to show up, to teach. And, there's so much unteaching, it's really hard to get anywhere, I know that Randall Chambly, who likes to criticize teachers, and that's his job, no problem with that. I'd like to have that job. I think I'd be better at it. I know a little bit more about teaching, and I can talk just as good as he can. So he was kind of running down Chris's record with the guys that he's currently teaching. Before Tiger. Love Mark and Aaron Badley and these guys. Hey man. He didn't get number 1, 2, and 3 on the tour. He got these guys that were like, just hanging on by a thread. Maybe not badly because he putts so good, but those other guys. So you can only, like Johnny Miller once said, you can only beat the people who show up. You can only help the people who are in front of you, right? And so if you get somebody that's damaged goods enough, and I don't want to mention anybody's name, but the guy that I had a day with, he had so many screwed up things in his golf swing. This guy, major winner, that it was going to be a long fix, and he's done a little bit better now, and stuff since then. But I mean, it's a cautionary tale. It's a cautionary tale for the golfer. Beware of the teacher who wants to make a bunch of changes if you're a tour player, or even just you're a really good 5 and you want to be a 2. Is it going to be that difficult? Is you're going to need that many changes just to get to a 2 because you want to play in the U.S. Amateur qualifying and you got to get below a 2.4 index or something like that? You want to be real careful, and I think that's why there's a big boom in this performance coaching, right? Just hey, let's look at everybody's game, and maybe one, you don't know how to read greens. There's a few systems out there you do better for that. Let's go to a place like Cool Clubs or go see Rush Ryan or one of these guys and get your clubs just right. And then, maybe you go to somebody that's got, background, maybe TPI plus a couple of other body things and get yourself in a little better shape and go see a Brett McCabe or something like that, to get the mental game right. Sure, you haven't changed one thing about your golf swing, and you might be 3-4 shots better already. Right? And then keep some stats and figure out where you need to practice. So there's always a way to get better. And so I think there's going to be more and more of that kind of teaching, going on in the country. But my interest has always been to dig into golf swings and see what I can do with them. And it's a lot of fun. I definitely picked a career that suited me.
When you're doing that right now, how much of this technology are you utilizing during your lessons?
Well, it depends. So like I did 3 schools last year back to back with guys that I work with all the time, and every one of those guys have more equipment than I do. So at the schools, we use force plates and we use 3D and stuff. And all I have is TrackMan. That's it. We don't have I'm at a great facility, English Turns, Nicholas Course. We had a tour event for a long time, A+ in every way. We don't have a building. I have a $450 Toomey bag with a $25,000 TrackMan, and my iPhone's my second camera, and that's it. And if I had a building, I would absolutely have at least a basic swing catalyst plate and some sort of 3D. Now, ideally, right, you'd have gears, and you'd have this, and you have that, and you can spend $400,000 if you want to.
Oh my God, easily.
But if like for instance, I mean, hundred thousands of shots I saw before I ever saw a ball hit on TrackMan. But it, way, way over 1 million shots, right? Now I've had, access to TrackMan now for about 5.5 years. I'm so much better at spotting a heel and a toe shot. It's still the same shot. It's just, I see the shot, I see the numbers, I know it's a heel ball, heel side ball, right? And so now, if I was at demo day, which I'm not going to be able to go to for the first time in a long time because I got so many other commitments that day, I can spot a heel or a toe shot now from a mile away. I don't even need a. So I think that's something that people got to get in their coconut. If you watch enough shots on a swing catalyst and you teach enough people on a swing catalyst and you hit enough balls with on your own game on a swing catalyst, you're going to be able to look at me or you without a swing catalyst and take a shot at what that pressure is more likely doing than if you had never seen it. If you've seen something on gears that you've seen 100 times, then you're going to be able to be more likely to know in person whether or not they're going to do it. Your best tools are still your eyes, right? And guessing it'd be better if you didn't guess. But 99.9999% of everything that's ever been taught in the 600 years since the firemen were putting on ice were not measured. It's just a teacher standing there looking at it going, I think on that ball, what you did, Mr. Fireman putting with the ice, I think you bent your left wrist, and that's why you yanked that thing over there to the left, right? Might want to, have your elbow pointed at the hole in the ice a little bit better or something, right? Or whatever idea that first came up with putting. So I think that, I'm going to be doing a couple of live lessons coming up at this and I don't know when people are going to listen to this, but the week of the show, there's this open forum, and there's going to be live lessons, and I'm the leadoff hitter at 3 o'clock. And I'm going to teach 2 or 3 people, and they're going to have swing catalysts. They're going to have a couple more video cameras than I normally have, and they're going to have TrackMan. It's going to be indoors. And, I can't wait. But, when you have measurement devices, if you know what you're looking for, I mean, you could start almost anywhere. The average person getting on a force plate is going to have a bad trace. I mean, I'm talking about the average person, but the average golfer. If they're a 15 handicapper and they can throw a football from here to there, and if you throw them a basketball underhanded and they shoot it from 15 feet, they're not going to shoot an air ball. That golfer's going to get on that swing catalyst plate, and they're going to put up some crazy funky little thing, and then that crazy funky little thing that they're going to do with their center of pressure, they're going to hit a shot in that net, even if it's flush, and one of those TrackMan numbers is going to jump off that screen, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So a lot of times, what people worry about in golf lessons, young teachers, is where do I start? And measurement devices make it a lot easier for you. But really, at the end of the day, you could, if you don't have a place to start, just start someplace. Just change anything. Change the foot flare. Change the shoulder tilt at a dress. Move the hands from forward to back or from back to forward or something. Change one thing and let them hit a couple balls. Don't tell them why. Just because as soon as you change one little piece of a golf swing, like Ernest Jones once said, a golf swing's like a cat. If you cut a cat up into a million little pieces, you got blood and guts all over the place, but you don't have a cat anymore, right?
Right.
So if you take this orange drink that I spilled in my pants before and you pour it on the back of a white cat, you don't have a white cat anymore. You got a white cat with a big orange spot. So when you change anything in a golf swing, whether it's just a random guess or something you think is correct, what you're looking for is how that affects that whole golf swing. And now you've got something going. You have a dynamic situation. And then the other thing that I think a lot of people miss in golf lessons is this is a period of time, an interaction period of time that you have with another human being. And that date you have with them needs to be, you can't just treat that as that doesn't have anything to do with it. Baloney. That has a lot to do with it, right? So how you work, how you work that person coconut wise, how you get into their space, how like I'm a hands-on teacher, man. You can't sit there and ask people for that. You'll get some funny looks, um, you know, you look like the kind of guy who kissed a bunch of pretty girls in your life. You ever asked them for that first kiss? You'll
No.
never get one. You'll never get one. So you got to be able to, just think about what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have this person. There's going to be some people out in the audience, and then they're going to be a little self-conscious, and they're probably not used to hitting balls in the net. Maybe they're worried about being on the swing catalyst plate. Now they're thinking about their weight shift, and they never think about it. You have to take all of that into account, and then they hit that couple of shots, and you can see, oh, geez, just wildly inside out or wildly outside in. Then you're going to have to tell yourself, what is it that I have to do? Apologize about the phone in the background.
That's okay.
What is it that I'm going to have to do to this person first, and then how am I going to do it in a way that they want to do it, right? That they're buying in, because that's another big part of teaching. Being able to sell the idea that, Pete, I'm watching you here, and you really have a really good swing, and I think it would be a really good idea if we just tweaked your grip a little bit. A lot of people are really iffy about changing their grips, and I know a lot of teachers sort of iffy about changing people's grips, but a lot of people have pretty bad grips. So you go over there and fix Pete's grip, and that's going to change some numbers and change some things. Maybe it'll do good, maybe it'll do bad. And there's another point. Never be so cocksure of yourself that you're going to make all correct decisions in a lesson, and never be so proud to say, let's go back to your regular grip. I liked it better for you, right? It worked better for you.
Yeah.
Admit when you're wrong. The one thing that TrackMan has done for me, teaching with TrackMan, I use it in every lesson, is when I go up a road, let's say I think that golfer's left arm needs to be hot by this much. That's a decent amount. And I raised the left arm and hit a shot. How was that? Hooked it off the earth. And I went, well, the arm was up there. Try it again. Hooked it off the earth. Now I thought having that arm up was going to make that path go further left. Seems to make sense, right? You think flatter would be more inside out,
Sure.
Typically, but not all the time. Well, in this guy's case, he panicked. He got up here, raised his arm this much. He thought he was going to hit it left. He dropped it more than he normally did, swing further to the right, and then I complicated the issue. You got to be man enough or girl enough if you're a lady teacher. I have a lot of friends that are ladies that are teachers. You got to be, hey, I don't think that's such a good idea. We're going to put your arm back where it is. We're going to find the thing. There's always that root cause, right? That one magic thing that can fix more than one. If you can find the one thing that can fix 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 other ones, then you really got something.
So as for students out there, your advice to them would be find somebody who is going to work with you, who's going to help you find what you have naturally, and also understand scientifically how to get there, and no matter how it is to get there, and also someone who you get along with personality-wise, because you might be with this guy for a while or this gal for a while, and also if you get along with them personality-wise, you're going to get to the root of the problem probably a lot quicker because you're more apt to listen to them.
There's a match for everything, right? I'm about to build another house, and I had a bad circumstance with the first one. You want to pick a builder, right? That you're going to be having this relationship with this person,
right?
That you're putting all this money in front of them to dole out and help you make decisions along the way. I think you might want to be able to get along with them, and your vision and their vision have to be somewhat alike. And one of the last things I want to say that I think that people need to get right in their head is this interview process that everybody, a bunch of years ago, I'd say, time flies when you get old like you and me.
Yeah. I'm older than you.
15 years ago, don't tell anybody. About 15 years ago, you'd go to these seminars like the teaching summit I'm about to go to, and everybody was big on the interview. You got to interview them. You got to ask them what they want. And I've said this analogy a million times. If you go to Supercuts, $20 haircut, you look at a book and you say, I want the Hunter Mahan. Give me the Hunter Mahan. And they'll probably butcher you, but they'll try to give you the Hunter Mahan. If you go to Nick Arugio, who used to be on the show What Not to Wear, famous guy, $500 for a haircut, you sit down and shut up.